Call to order the Special Projects Committee meeting for March the 12th, 2021.
Recording started.
Ms. Hughes, would you like to do the invocation, please, sir?
We can take a moment. Father, we just want to take this time to thank you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do for keeping us safe. We ask a special blessing on the staff and the board as a whole and the world as a whole. We ask that you give us an open mind as we discuss the issue in front of us. These and all other blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Curtis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimously. At this time, we will turn it over to Mr. Knight for his review of the information we asked him to bring forward.
Thank you, sir. After our first meeting, we were talking about job descriptions and pay ranges, and this is a draft copy of the job description that you have in your packet. I think this position will serve us well in the fact that what all that we've got going and what all we're gonna be facing in the next couple of years. You know, Wayne Beam's our lobbyist, and this person will have an opportunity to work closer with the lobbyist on different projects that we see that's coming up in the state. It's not saying that we don't work with Wayne right now, but we could be more involved in that program, and this person would do that. Started to fight in DEC in the state now on extended producer responsibility. And that ain't just TVs, across the nation, across the world. There's states that have it for paint, for carpet. Packaging now is a big thing going on. So I foresee that will be hopefully a continued fight across the state on getting the producers of these products more in line to handle their products at the end of their life. Amazing that some states now are talking about cardboard packaging, all type packaging that producers are going to have a part of paying for that at the end of his life. We tussling over electronics, but I think we've made a big step up in it this past week. Hopefully next week it'll be in front of the Senate and the House on the floor, and it sounds good. Another thing, the management plan is coming back up, and it seems like we just finished wrestling with that bear last week. But that'll take the management plan responsibility and coordinating with Mike Besson, who has been strapped with it, even though that committee is not our committee. It's the county hold committee, but we coordinated here. We generally hire the firm or get a firm to help get the committee through that management plan. food waste, that's another thing that Mike spends a lot of damn time on getting it started, but he's not there through the whole process because he just doesn't have the time to do it. Person will be a first line contact with all these contractors that we got working, issues that may come up, through the course of the day. I want to say that the bridge, first part of the bridge was put in 2 days ago and they grouted it. All the cracks are grouted. That grout has to meet a certain breakage tensile strength before you can get on the bridge. So 24 hours, yesterday at 3 o'clock, they tested it and it passed the strength test, so the drag line could go out on the bridge and set the template for the next set of pilots. But it's those type things that this person will be totally involved in. The piggyback 3 MSW permit will be coming up next year. That FIN committee will be meeting here. That is a committee set up of community. That is a pretty big challenge at best. Anybody that's got anything to do, say against us, will want to be on that committee. And this person should certainly help coordinate that and work with the community and work with the problem. The last FIN committee, we had a group working, and if you will remember on piggyback 1 and 2, we actually raised helium balloons to the height of the projected landfill. Something that they were worried to death at the heights, and you were gonna see it from the beach, and you could just gonna ruin the horizon of Maury County, and it's those times. The turn lanes was a good thing that came out of the FIN committee. They made that recommendation, there should be turn lanes, so we went to the CTC committee, which has got money to put in certain paving projects, and Rector Varun was the chairman of that, and we got funding through that to put the turn lanes in, which has been a blessing. Especially now that Highway 90 looks like day and night, looks like a funeral going both ways. But I think the position will be well worth the funds. I think it'll take a lot of things this position will bring to the table. City meetings, city, county workshops, and those type of things. And I put together some of the, I'll give you a range on the salaries. We can discuss that. I can find mine. Like I say, this is I ran it through 6 steps. I think there's more than 15 steps in each grade. But I ran it through 6 steps to give you an idea on the salary, and then all the other costs that we'll have to place on the base side to cover all the costs. Now, everything's not in this thing that this person very well may be. We got office space down next to Nanette's, Mike's old office. Vehicles, changing out vehicles in the future, that'll be, we can cover that with no problem. We found the funding in this projected budget. It's gonna have to come out of a couple of different funds, but if this person, when they come on, if we're doing the management study, I'm sure we can reduce that fee a little bit to help offset some of it, so we can adjust existing line items now to cover the cost, but it'd probably be my recommendation to go with step 6, and that gives us latitude. That doesn't mean that we may find somebody that's willing, step 2, that meets the qualifications and, needing a change, needing a, maybe work closer to home or something like that, but we need to go ahead and get it in the budget if this what this committee's recommendation will be. Questions from Mr. Knight?
Comments, suggestions, thoughts?
I think it's a good idea. Community is growing, the projects that we have here at the Solid Waste Authority is growing, and it's becoming more and more, taking more and more time for Danny to try to do all of these things, and so I think it's a good idea to have somebody that will be able to pick up some of these things, which will make sure that we don't slide through any cracks and make sure that we don't work Danny to death, and also be able to do other things that that we may need them to do. For example, looking at new things that may be available at the Solid Waste Authority, and those kinds of things. I just think it's a good idea that we get somebody in, so I'm all on board for it. I would just say that we probably need to send this job description out to the rest of the board. I don't know if that's been done, so that they can look at it and see if there's it.
What I'd like to do is, if the committee agrees today, is, if we could get a motion to forward this suggestion to full board and to give Danny staff the permission to start searching, fill this position, not to fill it, but to start searching, see what's available out there and see what they find, and that will come back to us.
I just want, what did we, how did we come up with the salary range? Did we look around to see what this position may be?
We looked at our existing staff ranges, where they lay, and then back down the range to where we thought that we could possibly find a deputy or assistant or something in that line. We may not find anybody, and if we don't, we'll just have to come back to the board and say, we put it out. This is what the qualified, the ones that look like they can bring the most, but we need additional dollars. If we don't need additional dollars, we won't have to come back to you. It's kind of like setting a budget for a compactor. You may get it, it may not have enough, and then we'll have to come back and do the same thing over again, so.
Well, Ms. Creech and I haven't been in that position before when we were looking to hire Danny. What I'd like to see this committee do is simply institute the search. is just the beginning. I didn't expect to come out of this any finalization. This is just giving him the parameters that he can work within. This is just opening the door and saying, we agree with it. Start looking and see what you can find that'll fit within these parameters. If you can't, come back and tell us what's wrong and what you have found, and we'll readdress the issue.
And what we'll do is just, we won't advertise this in the Swan magazine or anything like that at this present time. We'll just start putting feelers out to see who's going. You know, the guy that was at Three Rivers retired this past year. He maybe played enough golf by now. People always retiring in certain jobs, but we'll just put some feelers out and see what kind of interest is out there. We always have people calling us. And we got a guy that's living up north, and I think he has finally had a belly enough of all the snow up north about wanting to move to the southeast. And he's worked in a MRF, managed a MRF all his life. So we get those calls. And
I think if you go to advertising in Swan and the rest of them, you're gonna get people that wanna go to work now.
Yeah.
And
I
this-
don't think we're ready. I think we'll get there, and I think they'll have to be done with everybody that we can look at before it's over, but right now, I don't think it's time for that yet.
this money will start July 1. Nothing can happen before July 1, and we don't want to get somebody excited and they up and quit a damn job thinking they can come here. We don't want to do that. Anybody worth their grain of salt will have to give their people, if they're working, 60, 90 days, you know. It's a budget process. We just need to step on through the process and get it in the budget if this is what the board wants to move forward on. And as any other project that you fund, we'll do everything in the world to make it work and get the best that we can find for the dollar.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that we send this to the full board for approval to move ahead with the process and give Dana the opportunity to begin to start looking into the possibilities of filling this position.
And what we'll do, I'm sorry.
You have a second.
A motion and second, any other discussion?
One thing I would like to say, I think we definitely need to do this. Start this in the next budget, but I'd like for, being from private industry, one thing I look at when you hire someone, if he's gonna make enough money, make enough difference to pay his salary and to benefit the organization he's with. I realize that's not necessarily the way public industry looks at it, but in my opinion, with solid waste going forward, a lot of what we do, or someone that we hire that can do that, would be a person that is capable of working with our lobbyists and working with the community to understand where we need to go with these products and how this organization needs to go more toward composting and recycling and extending the life of this landfill, and to work with that lobbyist to get these manufacturers to pay for that, or either choose, if they're going to have to change their products. So there is a monetary benefit to me if we get that right person. So I think we need to be very careful and take our time and work through that to make sure that happens. So I'm on board with that. That's just what I wanted to say.
I agree with that, and I think equally important in this position is finding someone that can work within the structure of Overy County. I think is as important as their background. I think that is equally as important, because without that, they cannot succeed.
I've never been on the private side. I watched Mike when he was on the private side, and I told him the other day, I said, damn, I might kill you yet for some of that stuff you did over there. But, you know, on the private side, you say, it's a return on your dollar type situation. And that's easy to get a board to accept if you place it down. But on the public side, you got to be able to justify and explain that's what the position is going to be and do and bring to the organization. And that's hard to explain to some people that don't believe in the organization to damn start with.
That's very
So
true.
that's a challenge that we have to face, and we know that's gonna come. We know we gonna catch grief over this very position in this budget, from certain parts. But I think overall, we can certainly see the benefits. There's times that I would love for Mike to go to Surfside and get with the guy down there and ride and see what he's doing. Or Myrtle Beach, or, you know, when Ron left down there, we kind of lost contact with Myrtle Beach, even though we know who's there. But somebody just needs to go every so often and touch base and ride around and see how you're doing, have a cup of coffee, and just do those things. And we haven't been able to keep up with that side of it. I don't think like we should, and it's not that we don't want to do that, it's just sometimes you can't find the time to do it. But I think the position will bring a lot to the table. And we always look at everything we do as attempt to save money, just like electronics did. What that has done for the county's Fund 6 this year, and it's on. If we can get the extended producer deal through the state, how much more is that going to cost? Well, that position, we didn't gain from saving the Fund 6 money, because that's the county's money, but it was the thing to do for the overall people of the county, and I think we do a good job as stewards of the taxpayers' funding.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I also agree with the fact that if we have someone that can ride around with the cities, we could suggest looking, just like I think Myrtle Beach, stop some of their recycling collection and certain things they didn't recycle anymore and people have. If we have someone who can ride with them and look at that and make suggestions on how to do all of that and bring all of those recyclables back in, I think that is a benefit to saving landfill space, which is money, and a benefit to us being more efficient because we have more things to recycle that we're already capable of doing. And to me, that's where that position will be very beneficial.
Not only will it help the cities that are recycling now, it will certainly help the cities that ain't doing no recycling now to encourage how they can go about it, what programs we offer that may assist them getting that done. So I think this position is not gonna be a Danny Knight shout, I can guarantee you that. I don't like to be shouted too damn much anyway, but, this person, whomever it is gonna have a plate full.
Whoever it is, not he is, it is.
Might be a woman.
Whomever it is, as I said.
All right, all we ask is, and we'll call for a vote after this, that if you can teach him to be as frugal as you are, we'll be happy.
he'll.
At this time, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Aye. It passes unanimously. Is there anything else that needs to be brought before the committee this morning? You?
I don't have anything.
no,
I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Thank you very much.